Everything good.
What a funny word. I'll tell you that.
Did you see Joan out there?
John, Lou, Dr. Jernigan. Dr. Jernigan. All I know is we started at 6, it'd be 11 o'clock right now.
4 would have been nice.
It'd be 11 o'clock. 4 would have been nicer. I thought a federal holiday, everybody could get here at 1.
10
Holiday
a.m.
for all of us.
10 a.m.
Wasn't for me, I was in the middle of a job, so.
I took off work.
Me too. I didn't. You got a job, that's a holiday. You find it, you working or not?
There's all the contracts.
All right, we're going to reconvene a meeting at 5:15. And we're going to go to hearing item C, open the hearing for Cielo Azul Ranch. Rick Brown.
He said we were going to be there. Yeah, he's good.
Oh, yeah, I skipped it, sorry.
I called him.
The hearing is now open. We are going to seal, yes, seals, C.
Cielo Azul's been working to understand their system better. They do have a permit with us for 6 acre-feet, which I made a graph of them. They did not create this, I made this, so if there's any mistakes upon me. I went back to 2006. They didn't report how much they pumped with us, but for some reason they told us they had 28 connections. And for the next 2 years, they not only did I not report with no connections, it's not until 2009 where they pumped 5.9 acre feet on a 6 acre foot permit with 28 connections. And you jump into the next year, again, still having a 6 acre foot permit, 28 connections, but they pumped 10.2 acre feet, which caught my attention, and I brought it to the board. Since then, they have installed meters, reviewed their system, looked for leaks. I have to say, hope that they have done everything they can to understand their system better than they have in the past. They have requested 10.5 acre feet for 2011 as an increase, obviously, of 4.5 acre feet a year, but the number of connections presented to us has stayed the same. I bring this to you all's, the board's attention, and ask that you review it and maybe make an understanding of our needs.
That's all you have for that. Anybody from Cielo Azul want to speak on this item? Or is that, he said what you wanted to hear?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody wants to make a comment?
Looks like amazingly consistent data for, looks like unbelievably consistent data. So that would be my only comment. Have you all inspected their, or heard anything about their meters, been out and visited
Yes.
their
we've been out there, I've made a field trip with them. She's been out there a few times. We did find leaks. We found some issues and we repaired them.
What I was really referring to is how consistent their production is.
Probably,
Every
yeah,
year.
it's not correct.
That's a question mark, bud.
The green is their permit.
So, oh, I see, you don't have any production data except for 2009.
Right.
I see. Okay.
All right, so is it, anybody else want to comment on this hearing? Close the hearing?
No, I did.
Oh,
I signed it.
yes, sir, you did, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right here on the top.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. You don't have a water budget established. You need to have that established before you start issuing these permits. You can have your water budget in the next few months with diligent work and with the new MAG established through the Texas Water Development Board. This is a preemptory move on your part to issue permits at this time. And I think it's inappropriate. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to speak on this item? Hearing none, close the hearing. Do we have a motion to,
Can I ask a question real quick?
yes, sir.
Have you figured the per capita use, what that comes up?
It's just shy of 330 gallons a day, I just figured it out. So I'd like to go ahead and make a motion now, can I? To go ahead and approve,
No, they said they didn't, the hearing's closed.
to move to increase the permit to 10.5 acre feet. And Rick, I know they had some fines, but are we waiving those because they came into compliance? Or do we have to have a second
We
motion
had
for
to make
that?
fines against them, the board said to put it up and make them, or ask them to put in meters, so we haven't received, or we've not fined them.
But at this point, since they've done everything they've asked, I just want to say, I think this is Mr. Garza, right? Mr. Garza? You know, no disrespect to our attorney here, but we were able to do this just by working with the man. He came into our office, he's a World War II vet, 90 years old, drove up here by himself, met with Rick and myself, explained the situation, and pretty much has made the improvements we've asked. And I'd like to just go ahead, and I think that 10.5 acre feet is not out of line for 28 connections. So I'd like to make that motion.
All right, a second. Any other discussion?
I just want to go on the record in the minutes that I do not think it's appropriate to approve any permits until we have the final MAG. So I want that to be addressed with them.
Any other comments?
I'd like to thank Dr. Jernigan for, I know she spent some time out there, visiting the site, working with those people. She put a lot of effort into this,
Thank you.
this Water Supply Corporation.
They were quite willing to meet their water supply.
Jimmy, do you
Yes,
have any
you-
handle on water laws?
excuse me?
Do you have any handle whatsoever on water laws from their funding reports? You say they pumped, and I'm assuming that's on the supply well,
Yes.
but
In
do
the
they
past,
report water laws?
in the past, the problem was they didn't have meters, so everything was used, because there was no meter to see if there was a loss. Each house didn't have a meter, so we went back and put new meters on, and with the new meters, we've now seen it's using this much water. But we have not, I don't believe,
But there's
in
no
the past,
meter
it
on the
wasn't.
central well, and you do have meters on the house.
now,
Right.
Dr.
But there's no
Attorney,
meter on the central well.
yes,
so-
yes, there is. There is now. At the very beginning, there was just a meter on the central well, but to all the houses there was.
Gotcha.
So we could never figure out, it was a loss, selling the water, and now I think we got a handle on it. But, on this one, time will tell. That they may be in uncompliance 6 months from now as we start looking at everything perfect now, with meters.
Thank you.
All in favor? Aye. hearing item B for Wimberley Water Supply. It shows my name by it, Jimmy Skipton. That was a typo. It should be Marquis. So Marquis, it's your deal, but we've been open with
Rick, you want to start?
Yeah. Again, I did a graph. If there's any mistakes, it's on me. We do have a one-year permit for 695 acre feet. They've asked for a 3-year permit, and I like to say at the beginning of the third year to be at 770 acre feet. Is that a correct assessment? Correct. Yes, sir. This is not my recommendation. This is a scenario, as I stated on the graph itself. I go back to 2008. You can see their permit is 695 all the way through 2010. Their connections have gone up slightly. But I did how I got 1862 with the asterisk is I took 2010 numbers, multiplied out by 11%, and that would indicate the number of connections. And the bottom numbers are how many new connections they had in 2008, 2009, and so forth. That's just my interpretation of the request.
Okay,
anybody from, we can now take what they have to say.
yeah.
Wimberley Water Supply, or would anybody like to speak on Wimberley Water Supply?
Yeah, and a comment, please.
Please. This is your chance to explain to the public, to us, why you believe you need these numbers.
That's why I'm here.
President Skipton, Board, thank you for allowing me to come to you this afternoon. A little history on Wimberley Water Supply. We're 46 years old. As you know, 46 years of pipes in the ground has a lot of breakage as time increased with excellence. We spent $1.5 million in the last 2 years upgrading our lines. And Wimberley Water, we consider ourselves good stewards of water. We've taken care of our problems as they come up, and we haven't wasted any. We don't sell bulk water to anyone. The only water that we give away is to fire departments to put out a fire, and I hope our customers appreciate that, and to flush our lines, which is required by law. I think we're at a disadvantage somewhat. Y'all are working on a 50-year plan to develop water resources. I think we're at a disadvantage because you're asking us to come up with a number for 3 years. We increased our request considerably over what our current pumping is at this time, but it wouldn't take but one Htgcd store and a 4-story motel or hotel to come to Wimberley, and we would be over our allowed pumpage. We've come close twice of reaching our allowable, and we just want to be protected. When Wimberley Water started 46 years ago, they had 180 customers and 18 miles of line. Today we've got 1,670 customers and 75 miles of line. Like I say, we don't sell bulk water. All the water we sell goes out through that faucet to our customers. Under our tariff, that's all we furnish. And we will not furnish bulk water to builders, road builders, anyone out there. We're very protective of what you've given us. We're very protective of this asset that's in our ground. Every bit of water that we sell comes out of our customers' taps. They can put it in their yard, they can put it in their mouth, they can take a shower, whatever they want, it's their water. But we, under our tariff, we have to furnish them water. Of our 1,670 taps in the city of Wimberley, is only about 60% of the build-out in the city. It's possible for us to have another 14 to 1,500 taps if the city and our CCM will be built out. So we're trying to protect what we have and plan for the future. And 3 years is a short term to try that plan. We think our request is reasonable because no one knows what the future holds. I think this economy will turn around and people will continue to come to the hill country. It's been lax for the last 2 or 3 years, but when you're asked to plan for the future for a 3-year plan, you want to put it out as far as we can. And we're not going to dump the water out on the ground if we don't use it. We're going to give it back to you. And if you have pumpage that you've allowed us, I'd rather Wimberley Water Supply have this pumpage and take care of it as good stewards that y'all have the water available that you have to give to a developer to come in here. We'll take better care of it than they will. Thank you.
I got a quick one. We have speakers on this item?
Do I have to sign up?
No, I think, have you signed up already?
No, I haven't.
Well, you can go first. If you'll state your name.
My name is Clint Franklin, from the Wimberley area.
All right.
I've been told by city fathers down there that since I'm not their ETJ, I have to say I'm from Eagle Rock. So anyway, they've been in existence 46 years, and my property signed on with them 41 years ago. Well, actually longer than that. I'm number 42 on the meter, and we're up to what? 1,681. So I'm one of the charter members in a way. I will just say this, that as a customer, I found this to be a first-rate outfit. And they do watch their water. And if you find a leak or report one, they're out there within, I'd say, 10 to 12 hours. So if these people have forecasted they want to be ready for any additional growth without being hamstrung and have it available there and have the extra capacity, I think they're good stewards of it, and I think they ought to grant their request. Thank you.
All right. Linda Lane.
She just, I think she had to leave.
All right. Linda K. Rogers.
Well, unfortunately, my forefathers must be turning over in their grave today for poor display of democratic action that has occurred here today. I am completely overwhelmed by that. As I said, actions speak louder than words, and you do not listen. You've made that clear today. I came prepared to kind of oppose the request by Wimberley Water. However, you have made a statement that is compelling to me that I would much rather see these good stewards get this allotment than somebody else. And since I am very certain you're going to give them the water anyway, regardless of the MAG or anything else, I feel like I'd be wasting my breath to say otherwise. I would much rather they have the water than a developer. If they don't use it, then it stays in the aquifer. The problem, the part that bothers me is this concept of build it and they will come. And that is, if you've got that water available for Htgcd, then they can come, and they will. I'd like to make one other statement about this being about anti-growth. It is not about anti-growth. It is about managed, responsible growth. I'm a pragmatic person, and this is another thing that disturbs me greatly, is I see no common sense coming out of this board, and many others that I deal with, and I speak in generalities. There are exceptions. Common sense tells me that if I do a whole lot more building here, it's going to require a whole lot more water, and we're not going to have it. And this is what I see you not grasping this concept, that you keep approving these things and giving this water away, then it allows for undampered growth. And then there isn't going to be water is going to be worth nothing. That golf course is not going to be able to operate. There's simply not going to be enough water, and drinking water and commode flushing will become a priority. You guys don't seem to get it, you know? And I will have to say one other thing, Mr. Nesbitt, your complete lack of understanding of ground recharge and aquifer recharge just blows my mind. You may need to add some more to that budget, Ms. Jernigan, because I think it's going to take more than $25,000 to get some of these guys educated. But put the whole picture together, guys. You're not looking at the whole picture and all the puzzle pieces, and you're just ramrodding and railroading, and it's going to bite you in the behind. Trust me.
Steve Box. Jim McNeese.
President Skipton, members of the board, I contacted Rick and asked to see a copy of the application from Wimbley Water Supply. And I wanted to just read a little bit of the comments that I put together. They've asked for, the current permit is 695 acre feet. The application has conflicting statements. It states a request for 720 acre feet, but then states 25 acre feet per year for a total of 75 acre feet for 3 years, for a total of 770, 11%. The posted agenda states a request at 77 acre feet per year, which is also incorrect. So the agenda posting is incorrect.
I'll give you some more time. I think it says up to 770, doesn't it?
No, it says
No,
770 per year.
Per year.
So it's incorrect. Let me go ahead. You can review this later. I'll give you this, a copy of this to Rick, and y'all can decide if you're legal or not. I think you're not. The Wimberley Water Supply has submitted no justification, except comments by Mayor Haley today, for the requested increase in their permit, or any justification for a 3-year permit, in my opinion. In the past, Wimberley Water Supply has been granted 1-year permits, and for the past 8 years, they have never exceeded the 695 acre feet permit. Since year 2003, the number of accounts they service has increased from 1570 to 1680, or about 14 new connections per year. A very slow growth rate. During this period, their median rate of water use has decreased from 207 gallons per day per connection to 145 gallons per day per connection. This reduction has been due to good management of their system and plowing money back into system maintenance and repair, thus saving groundwater from being wasted. And as I've told Mayor Haley, hooray for Wimberley Water Supply Corporation. No problem with their operation. But the bottom line is they don't need an increase in their permit at this time, nor do they need a 3-year permit. And I go back again to the water budget. You need to be treating everybody fairly, not selectively picking out people to give permits to because they're good guys, you know. I mean, you need to have a water budget in front of you before you start allocating this. And the water budget needs to be based on the managed available groundwater. So I would just ask you all to reconsider this, and if you're going to give them anything, continue their existing 1-year permit at 695. Thank you.
Frank Sullivan? Frank? Adrian Vogel? Lawrence Blanco? Anybody else want to speak on this? Richard Sullivan?
Yes, me. Can I say one thing real quick pertaining to that permit?
Not quite yet.
Okay. I was going to clarify.
Right, just give me 1 second.
Well, I'd just like to say that I don't live in Wimberley Water Service Company's area. I don't get water from them, but I know a lot about them, and I know Tom Haley, and I know they have done a great job keeping their lease within the Rural 9 and then some. And as far as giving them more water over 3 years, I don't see a problem with that. They're not going to pump it unless they can sell it. So if they get the newcomers in here, they'll have it. And this is all about growth or no growth, really. Not a whole lot about water. Thank you.
All right, anybody else to speak on this issue? All right, we'll close the hearing. And now we're gonna talk amongst ourselves and ask some questions.
Does he want to make this comment?
Well, I can clarify.
Yeah, that's exactly, I think in a minute, I'm gonna ask you, I'm gonna ask somebody, I'm gonna ask my lawyer, the lawyer one question. I have a question. If it noticed it at 770 acre feet on this notice, and this board decides to give them less, are we okay?
I don't see anyone whose rights have been prejudiced by granting a permit for less than the amount that you posted on the notice.
Okay, but I mean, I don't wanna get hung that, I thought it would say up to.
The purpose of the notice